Okay, shout out to T3973 for the comment. There's some things in here I want to touch on, and writing a paragraph is going to be somewhat cumbersome, and I think no one really wants to read as much as they want to listen to video, so let's just make it a video. T plays 17 ABI, started playing 4 months ago, and he's 18 in high school. It's pretty cool, man. There's no better time to start. It's not to discourage anyone who's starting older, but when you're 18, you've got your whole adult life to compound the gains that you make when it comes to studying, whether it's studying for school or studying for something else like poker or whatever vocation you choose. You get to have a longer runway for realizing your potential. So that's great. Teed says my videos are extremely helpful. I've been getting really good feedback about them. I know it's going to sound like I'm glazing myself, but there's no other way. There's no other way for me to say it without probably being accused of doing such. I do appreciate the words. I'm glad that they help. I think my content tends to be a bit polarizing, not necessarily intentionally, because I'm just trying to do my thing. I just make videos that I like, and I don't make videos based on what trends are or what the algorithm is telling you guys is the hot thing. I just make what I make. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you probably hate me. Underrated? Does that mean like because I don't have a lot of people subscribed? I guess maybe. But it's like a stock that's undervalued, you know? It can stay undervalued for a long time, and then eventually the market wakes up because the market's inefficient, but that's a story for another day. For what it's worth, despite my experience in the poker industry, I have mostly just been playing up until the time Jordan recruited me for BBC. Yeah, if it wasn't for Jordan, I wouldn't be doing this at all. When you started out, you did exactly what I said was bad. Don't we all? I remember I just started with $150. I was playing every day and losing at like a 2.6 ABI. When your ICM for Poors video came out, it popped up on my recommended and I started watching it. Well, I'm glad that my thumbnail game is reasonable, because while I don't yet have a bajillion subscribers, at least the title was catchy. It blew my mind how much I suck. This is the cool thing. This is why I would encourage you to watch content that's not necessarily directed at the games, the specific games that you play. The video convinced me to spend more time studying. As a result, I played less, a lot less, but I moved up in stakes quickly, and my win rate went up, and my bankroll went up. Well, what do you freaking know? I'd be willing to bet you didn't really understand the video that well, or even apply the teaching of it that well. Or maybe you did. It's probably not that relevant in your games. But what happened here is a paradigm shift. You were essentially exposed to the broader world of poker. You had in your mind how things work, and then you saw a new gate open to show you a new side of the world that you didn't know existed, and suddenly you've come to the realization that there's so much more to fill in this gap that exists between that world and your current world. The value in that video, for some people, it's going to be just the technical aspect that I was hitting on. And for others, it's going to be this paradigm shift. So it's really cool to see that someone who's relatively new getting things out of this video that I didn't intend that. Like, I just made the video to express the idea, but to see somebody take something else out of it, that's really cool to see. And it brings me back to when I was playing 1 cent, 2 cent cash games and 2 cent, 5 cent cash games. Yes, I was playing micro penny stakes cash games years and years ago. I was on the forums, flopturnriver.com, old school forum, smaller forum, great community. And I was reading all the high stakes stuff. I was reading through every thread. I read all of it. I read low stakes, mid stakes, micro stakes. I read through all the threads. I didn't understand everything, but what I remember it helped me with was it helped me sort of understand that there's so much more I needed to learn. And I had the same sort of inspiration where I had this feeling like I just need to get to work. I just need to get to work. There's so much to know, and I don't really understand what these guys at the high stakes are talking about, but the game is bigger than what I thought. And that I think that's extremely valuable. So that's the idea of non-linearity in practice. Currently, I've been having 1 to 2 sessions a week and spending more time studying. Every session that I play, I can see the studying ever pay off. Yeah. That's pretty wicked. Lately, my focus has been running HRC Pro Sim. See, look at this, guys. He's doing the right things. Drilling spots in GTO Wizard. Yes, that's what you need to do to move up. And rewatching BBZ courses. Right on. Discovered BBZ through me. Haha. Never thought I'd be bringing Jordan cold leads, but here we are. Do you have any advice to fight low attention spans? Oh yeah, I got some of that. I would say my biggest weakness is I'm completely brain rotted from scrolling TikTok too much. Oh boy. Yeah, okay, so thank Christ you're only 18, because if you're like, well, I guess if you're my age, you're not gonna be that brain rotted from scrolling, because we didn't really grow up scrolling these things, or some of us took it up later in life, I suppose. But here's what you gotta do. So number 1, delete TikTok. And don't watch shorts on YouTube. Out of sight, out of mind. This is the way to quit something. If you want to really just stop doing it, you have to not see it. So if you've got the app on your phone and it's on your home screen, you delete it, get rid of it. So you can't say, at least if you find yourself like actually like legit addicted to this, and you're like downloading the app again to go in so you can watch your stupid short content, at the very least, you've created some sort of resistance where you have to like wait for it to load and then log in and all that, right? So just delete the app. It's 99.9% of TikTok is trash. And if you do learn something on TikTok, that 1% of the time, you still have to wade through the 99% of trash to get the thing. So just stop watching shorts. They're useless. There's 2 types of people. There's people who watch short content, and there's people who watch long form content. And the people who watch short form content almost never actually convert to long form content. It's very rare. It's like less than 10% for sure, I think, the way the conversions work when it comes to like driving traffic. Yeah, it's ruining your attention span. It's definitely contributing to that. Probably has a whole bunch of other negative effects, but you got to just get it out of your sight. So delete it. I guess I just naturally am averse to that sort of content. I've spent more time listening to long form podcasts and videos, courses, seminars. Like just from the inception of my time on the internet has been long form, right? When I first came up in poker, it was watching hour-long videos, and I would watch a lot of them. I would watch 2, 3, maybe even 4 in a row. I'd watch hours of video back to back. I've just conditioned my brain to be averse to it, and I think you can do the same. But you have to first get rid of the short content and get it out of your sight. This works for anything too. If you want to stop doing something, you have to just remove it from. You have to make it less accessible. It's like junk food, right? Don't put the candy on the table and then sit there and look at the candy and tell yourself not to eat it. Come on, man. Unless you have a strong aversion, or if you walk past it and don't register. Like right now, there's candy in this room over on the table, and I'd be tempted to eat it, but I signed a form at the front desk saying that I wouldn't touch the minibar. I don't know why they do it, but I told them I wouldn't touch the minibar. So I've already committed in my head. I'm not even looking at it. I just walk past it. Maybe you could write up a form for yourself. Just write that on the form. I will not consume short form content, or be specific. I will not consume TikTok videos or YouTube shorts. Done. And then maybe you make an exception for like cat memes on Instagram or whatever your fun thing is to do. But have some kind of like barrier or limitation around it. But when it comes to like pseudo education, like fake education kind of, like you have an educator making content, but they're making a bunch of shorts, and the shorts are there to generate traffic. They're not really there to convert anyone to becoming a long form subscriber. Although I guess in some cases it would happen, but it's probably super rare. Most long form subscribers are going to come from like viewing long form content. So yeah, step one, delete it. It's trash. And those things are designed to hook you into a never-ending loop. Okay, so another point I made is spend time in the woods or nature of some sort or on the water, be it in a boat, swimming, skating, whatever. Like do something active, or if you're not really athletic, then just walk, even spending time walking. And do this, go for walks without scrolling. Like don't bring your phone. And this is another out of sight, out of mind thing. Like if you must bring your phone, put it on airplane mode. If you have music and you want your phone from music, switch your phone off to airplane mode before you leave, so that if you're tempted to grab it and start scrolling, oh, no service. I have to like find, like, you see the barrier. You got to put the barriers in front. When you set that intention, and this is the other part I forgot to mention, but if you just make it your mission for the next few weeks to not scroll short form content, maybe writing that down on paper and just saying, I intend to, and then whatever your intention is, like, I intend to only consume long form content. Maybe it's better to not use negatives like I will not, because then it creates this kind of builds the thing up in your mind, like, ooh, I'm not going to do that. Oh, but it's bad. And it's tempting to do bad things as a human because, like, there's like an element of rebellion to it. So you have to kind of know your psyche a little. And maybe you don't know yourself that well yet when you're younger. But for me, I'm more of a rebellion type. So if I say, I'm not going to do that, I'm probably going to find a way to do it. So what I tell myself is I just focus on what I want to do. I intend to only watch long form content tomorrow. Just make it a day by day thing. You don't have to say every day for the next month. That's a bit overwhelming. Just make it a day by day intention. I'm going to set an intention for tomorrow. And if you just set that intention, then it's a lot easier because you're formulating the path in your mind of where you're going to go. You don't want to necessarily look at all the bad things that will stop you from where you want to go, because then you'll never get there. You'll be tripping up over all the obstacles in your way. If you're driving down the freeway, you're 18, you can drive, maybe. You should get your license if you don't drive yet. Don't be one of those incomplete people who doesn't have life skills. If you're driving down the freeway, you're going to try not to hit other cars, right? So how do you not hit other cars? Well, you don't just stare at other cars. You're going to steer yourself right into where you're looking. So don't even look at the other cars. I mean, look at them, acknowledge that they're there, but don't start aiming at them. You're aiming where you go, and everything else is just falling to the wayside. You're not aiming at what you don't want to hit, right? You don't want to run into the trees, so stop staring at them. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. I think this is how you avoid these type of things, is you don't try and force it out. You just acknowledge that it's there. Like you're acknowledging the cars on the road that are there. You're not trying to pretend that they don't exist. You're acknowledging they exist, but then you're ignoring them mostly. Like the cars coming in the direction on the other side of the road. You acknowledge that they're there, but you're just, you're looking at your lane, and maybe the next lane's beside you, but you're not preoccupied with the thing that you're not trying to do. Gas pedal through it. That's the way. Focus redirecting your attention. And now I guess if you have attention span issue, you might find yourself like snapping back. So you will redirect, and then you'll start to drift, and you'll start looking at the trees and the other cars, and whoa, before you know it, the car crashes. Okay, well, this is a proverbial car, so you can just pick it back up and put it on the road without having to endure all the pain and things that are associated with crashing. Speaking of crashes, like, that is where this type of thing could devolve into. Because look, there's stories of people that crash their car when they're on their phone, right? They're scrolling because they're so madly addicted to this thing. It's important that you be aware of the potential destructive nature of this. It's not just your attention span, it's possibly your life or other people's lives that are at risk. Just recognize that it's definitely a problem. Try not to feel too much shame over it. We all get inflicted with things throughout our life. But if you recognize that it's a problem, then you now have taken the first step to solving it, and you can jump to the solution. So we talk about spending time in nature, like as a way to kind of reset, right? When we're around screens all the time, even if it's long form content, if we're around screens too much and clicking the mouse for the poker and too much audio visual stimulation, it starts to mess with us. I'm telling you, it does. So we gotta have some time where we're just walking around or sitting around in nature and doing less. Leave the phone at home if it's too reflexive for you to check, or put it in airplane mode so that you have a barrier to getting into the internet. And the other thing I wanted to mention is read physical books over screens if you read, where it's possible. So if you are one of those people who likes to read on the Kindle or whatever, just do stop that. Like, I don't think it's good for us to do that. There's something amazing too about a physical paper book. I love reading paper books. I can't stand reading on a tablet. I don't know how people do it. I think if you force yourself to do it and then get into a habit of reading on the tablet, it's probably not good. I can't prove it. I just have this feeling that it's not good because we've been reading on paper for like ever since paper. I don't know when paper exists. I'm not a historian, but I don't know, something about the physical paper, and it doesn't strain your eyes the way reading on a tablet does. So I would encourage that, because if we're going to spend a lot of time on the screen playing, we want to have time to do things off screen. And if reading is something you do, it's best to do it off screen where you can. Guided meditation, breathing exercises. This is another one. You can go down the meditation rabbit hole and experiment with it, try different things, focusing on your breath. I find like one good takeaway from meditation is there's a lot of different claims and gurus and whatever out there saying this is the way, that's the way. But if you just focus on your breath and your breathing, it's a good way to just reset yourself back into the present moment. So anytime you find yourself wandering off, just bring it back to your breath, take notice of your breathing, and that helps just reset a little. So I think if you're feeling anxious, this is important too. Like if you have anxiety around this habit or this thing that you do that you're trying to stop doing, like the TikTok, could be anything though, but we're using TikTok as the example. If you feel like you really need that thing, maybe it's a cigarette. You don't have to fight the feeling. You just want to acknowledge that it's there. And the way to do that is you just start to focus on your breathing. And then by being present with whatever you're feeling, you're able to recognize it as a thing that's not necessarily you, and then helps create some separation between you and that thing, that impulse, whatever it may be. Out of sight, out of mind. That's the biggest takeaway. Focusing on where you want to go instead of where not to go. I think framing things in that way is much more effective. If you keep telling yourself, "Oh, I just need to stop watching short content. Stop watching short content. Stop watching short content." Oh, why do I want to stop watching short content? That actually sounds kind of appealing, right? You're just constantly reminding yourself of what you don't want to do. And there's some benefit to it, of course. So by focusing on not doing it, you're actually ruminating over the benefits, whether consciously or subconsciously. So what you want to do is really start to focus on where you want to go. And I think that's about all I have to say on that. When you go to the gym too, this is another thing. Bring your headphones and have your music downloaded on your phone if possible, and not on an app. That way you sidestep having to be on the internet. If you can't do that, then And the gym music in Canada is so awful. It's so bad. It's like every gym has this stupid moaning, groaning like pop music ever. It's like they're targeting that market of like girls who just got dumped by their boyfriend. Like the music, it's so awful. It's like the whining sound of the. Ugh. Didn't have this problem when I spent time in Eastern Europe, man. They played like upbeat music, like progressive house, techno, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Let's freaking move. It was great. I almost never even had my headphones in when I was in gyms in Eastern Europe. Prague had great gyms. Georgia, yeah, the gyms there are based. Just make sure you have your damn headphones in. That stuff brainwashes you too. Turns you into a weak bitch. So don't listen to that crap either. I would say that stuff's more dangerous than TikTok. But yeah, man. I really appreciate you commenting. I think it's great that you're giving poker a go. I'm not exactly sure if you're looking at becoming a pro or not. I wouldn't recommend it, but I say that to everybody. And then those who really want to do it say, "F you, I'm going to anyway." That's kind of what you need to make it, I think. You need to have a little bit of that FU in you.